And welcome everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking. We are live here from Spain. Boy, we have not been live here from Spain for so long. Life is just pretty busy. Anyway, we've not been live for so long, and it's been that long that StreamYard, which is what we use when we go live, StreamYard is like, who the hell are you? It didn't even recognize me, so I had to get a login code sent to my email, then I had to input the code, and anyway, we're here, we're live. Thank you for joining us if you can, and thank you for listening to the podcast if you can as well. Obviously, we've not been live for quite some time, but we've been really busy. I mean, what can we do? We're just busy doing all sorts of different things. And of course, we're still in quarantine. Not quarantine, we're still in lockdown. We're not even in lockdown, are we? We're still in coronavirus. That's where we are. We've still got coronavirus. We're not in lockdown. We're not in quarantine, and in fact the UK has actually opened up. I'm now allowed to go to the UK, and I've got my flights booked. We'll fly out next Wednesday over to Manchester. We've got a week in Leeds, summer holidays in Leeds. Oh, how life has changed. So we're flying over next week. My wife is already there. She's having to quarantine, so she's at her parents' house, and obviously the British government, nobody knows what's going on, of course, but I expect that she will have to maintain her quarantine, and I will just waltz through security and not have to quarantine. And I've said if she behaves, I might come and visit her. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just go to the pub instead. I speak like this when she's not around. She's still the boss. So who knows? But in today's session, I want to talk about financial freedom, and I want to talk about what that actually means, because I see, Instagram, for example, it kind of skews a lot of what's really going on in the real world. And you see people in Lamborghinis and on private jets, and everyone's faking it. I mean, a lot of people are faking this stuff. Not everyone, but a good deal of people are faking this. One of the funniest things I saw was a guy, he uploaded a picture, stood outside an aeroplane, a private jet, and he said, "Oh, I'm off to New York on my private jet." And then a few hours later, somebody else tweeted, "You're not on your private jet. And they tweeted a picture of him sat on American Airlines." And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, I'm tight, I was going to say I'm wearing a Primark t-shirt. I'm not. It's Hollister today, but normally I wear Primark. Like, I'm a tight mofo. I just, what's the point on spending money when I can save money? I just booked my hotel. I'm like, "Do you want an upgrade?" I'm like, "What the hell do I want an upgrade for? It's a nice 4-star hotel in Leeds City Centre. What the hell would I want an upgrade for?" "Well, you get a bigger room." Dude, I'm asleep. I'm unconscious. What is a bigger room gonna? The only reason I got a hotel room is because the 8 hours of sleep I need, I don't want it in a 3-star hotel with the doors banging and the sheets from your grandma's from 30 years ago. The ones with bobble on them, and the bobbled carpet like we had in the Ibis Hotel in France. We don't want that. We go for something a little bit nicer, so we've gone 4-star. But dude, we don't need a bigger room. How about breakfast? How much is it? 15 quid? What are you talking about? I can get breakfast from what's that awful place called? Weatherspoons. We try not to eat in Weatherspoons, but breakfast, I mean, for £4, come on. Give me a Weatherspoons breakfast any day. We don't need the £15 breakfast with your scrambled eggs that are made out of powder. We don't need that. Not when I can get my breakfast for £4, including coffee. So it's this idea of understanding, what is this supposed to be? What is the money supposed to be? How much money do you need? Do you need £1 million? And you don't. It's bullshit. I don't know why people seem to think, but honestly, I've been in property 23 years, I think. Is it 22? I've been in property a long time. And all the way through, people have got this idea about being a millionaire and having £1 million. And look, if you've got £1 million in your bank account, you're an idiot. The hell have you got £1 million in your bank account for, when you could get a return of between 6 and 10% on that £1 million? 60 grand a year is 6%. Why would you do that? You'd never have to work ever again. Like, you would have that invested. Savers are continually going to lose. Investors over the long term are absolutely going to win. What do you get in a bank account? 0.5% if you're lucky. I got an email last week. We've dropped it by 0.01. I'm like, it's only 0.02. How much more? You've halved it. Like, how much more are you going to reduce it by? 0.005. That's half of 0.001. Like, what are you going to do? So forget about all that. Forget about private jets. Forget about Lamborghinis. Look, you don't really see. Don't get me wrong here. I think I'm going to buy a Lamborghini at some point. I think that's probably going to happen. But it's kind of opposite to what I was just about to say. The only people who buy Lamborghinis are people who haven't got the money. But we have properties allocated for holidays. Like, think about that as a concept for a second. Let's say you want to buy a Lamborghini. You got 120 grand for a brand new Lambo. You don't have to spend that. You can pick them up for 70, 10 years old. But let's say you got 120 grand. You put 20% deposit, 6 properties, £200 each. That's £1,200 a month. There was a guy a couple of months ago now, and he was like on about getting a Lambo, and it's £1,000 a month. I'm like, dude, where do you get a Lambo for £1,000 a month? And it's a little bit older and so on, and you lease it. Brilliant idea. Do that. But this is when I say the people who got Lambos are faking it. It's because they're having to go out and do work, and the financial freedom figure is about not having to work. That's the whole point. Anyone can buy a Lambo. Anybody can buy a Lambo. You might live in a shitty house, or you might not go on holiday, because what are you going to sacrifice to get it in order to look good and impress people you don't care about and who don't care about you? So anyone can do that. But doing it properly, buying a Lambo on income that comes from residual income, that comes from property, that comes from stocks and shares, from dividends and that kind of thing, that is the real flex. And let's talk about real flexes, shall we? So all my income comes from me not working. Like, we've got the digital marketing business, and all that does is pay down mortgage debt. And there's a couple of other things that it goes into as well, pensions and that kind of thing. For the longer term, I'm 49. I turned 49 this month. So, I'm pensionable age in 6 years at 55. But it's not about anything to do with having lots of money and showboating and all that kind of thing. That comes later on. What you should be doing in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and if you've not started yet in your 50s, is you should be out earning income, and you move some of that income to one side that gets invested in something that then generates a passive income. And we're going to get to how much that should be in a few minutes, okay? But that's always been the secret to long-term longevity, long-term wealth, long-term flex, about money. I remember going out to nightclubs. I'm, 26, and there's guys there with a wad of, £100 or £200 or 500 quid. And I look at that and I'm like, you're an idiot. Why do you need to flex like that? And it's because he felt that he had to impress. And we've all been there, let's face it. But you should be moving that money into something that's going to give you passive cash flow every single month. And the more you do it, the less you have to work. That's the key. So I'm 49, I'm not turned 50 yet, and all our money comes from passive income. Next year, 2022, I think rents are going to shoot up, at least another 10%. I think there's been like a catapult. They're being pulled back a little bit, and then it's going to let go. And we've got this combination of this perfect storm with the pandemic, and we've got Brexit. And then when we come out of that in 2022, maybe whenever that happens to be, people are going to start spending, inflation's going to go up, your rents are going to go up, and you need to be prepared for some of that. And the best hedge against inflation is buying assets. Assets, it can be stocks and shares, it can be property. For me, it's not gold, it's not Bitcoin, it's not even Tesla. Tesla, for example, isn't for me a true asset. An asset is something that puts money in my pocket every month. Or, over 12 months, I get quarterly dividend payments. You don't get dividend payments from Tesla. It's a technology company. Technology companies generally don't do that. But if you're a capital investor which relies on the capital values going up, then that might be your strategy. So it kind of still fits the mold. But that's not my mold. My mold is, I want to know, if I put £100 in, how much do I get a year? £6. Brilliant. That's 6%. I can do the maths. What's that every month? 50 pence a month. Okay, so if you put £1,000 in, that's £60 a year. That's £5 a month. If you put £10,000 in, that's £600 a month, a year. Okay, which is £50 a month. If you put 100 grand in, that's it's £6,000 a year. That's £500 a month. If you put £1 million in, that's 60,000 a year. With 5 grand a month. That's what investing is. And when we talk about your financial freedom figure, you've got a choice to make. And I made the choice of going down property, and I was strong on property, and that might change, by the way. And is changing. We're now stronger on pensions, on ISAs, on stocks and shares, because we've got the property stuff managed. Although we've got a big thing happening right now, because we're no longer resident in the UK, we're no longer tax residents. All my tax is now going to get paid in Spain. Very complicated stuff. But now we're looking at buying here in Spain for 50,000 euros. You can get 400 a month. You can pay that off. So the equivalent is 100,000 down will get you 8 grand a year. If you pay cash for that, not using mortgages and so on. So that's really where we're at. But we're still buying stuff. We're still buying stuff that's going to generate cash flow. And then we just let good old Father Time wait another 10, 15, 20 years, and lo and behold, the rents have gone up. They've doubled in the next 20 years. The capital valuations of property has doubled in the next 20 years. Whatever that happens to be, I don't really care. It could go up 50% and 20%. I just don't care. The key is you generate cash, you move the cash out of your business, and you move it into an asset that then generates money for the rest of your life. I remember pushing something out there, and it was a HMO that was for sale. It was basically 20 grand down would get you into the deal, 10 grand on a refurb, so £30,000 into this HMO, house of multiple occupation. And that house would clear about £1,000 a month. And I remember posting on Facebook, 30 grand down, £1,000 a month for life. How many do you want? And people are like, it's a scam. It doesn't work. It doesn't exist. And you can go on Rightmove right now and find a house that does this. We teach people how to do it in the property sourcing training. These properties exist. How many of them do you need? And it's £1,000 a month for life today. In 10 years' time, it's £1,200 a month. In 20 years' time, it's £1,800 a month. In 30 years' time, when you pass it on to your kids, and 40 years' time, it's £2,000-3,000 a month. Obviously, inflation erodes, the cost of everything, but this is how it works. And so let's talk about financial freedom figure. I don't know how much money you are. I don't know who's watching, but let's say you need 2,000-3,000 a month. So let's call it 3 grand, because I can do the maths on 3 grand. I was going to say 2.5, but the maths gets complicated for me. I struggle with things like that. So let's say 3 grand a month will cover all of your expenses. Now, if you do not know what your expenses are every single month, so for example, and I'm not going to share this spreadsheet with you, but for example, I can actually log in and take a look at what my expenses are. Where are we? Total costs. There you go. And it is, I'm not going to tell you the numbers, but it ends and 10 pence. So it is to the penny. It's rounded up. It's actually to the tenth of a pence, right? Not tenth of a pence, tenth of a pound. So it's to the 10th pence. So it's 0.10. I know what my costs are every single month, and I've got everything in here. Everything. I've got savings, I've got petrol, personal expenses, council tax on various properties, electricity bills, the pool cleaner. We've got a swimming pool. The pool cleaner is in this list. The cleaner is in this list. Netflix is in this list. Looking at what we've got here, the gym, that's in there. Mortgages, tax is allocated. It's accounted for because we'll pay on account. Kindle is in there. I mean, everything. Amazon Music is in there. Property repairs is in there. Everything that we spend every single month is in there. And I know to the 10 pence exactly what that's going to be for next month. Do we get surprised sometimes? Absolutely. Have we got a fallback position of savings? Absolutely. Do we overestimate the repairs by 10 or 20%? Absolutely. Do some months we spend lower and some months we spend higher? Absolutely. But all of this is based on 22 years experience. And if you've not got a spreadsheet that actually dictates to you how much money you can spend, I mean, we're just doing it right now on, I mean, I just bought a nutrition coach. I didn't buy him, I'm renting him for a monthly fee. And I had my first call at 7 a.m. this morning. And on my, you know, we track everything. So I'll give you an example, okay? So we had for breakfast for me is at 12 noon, by the way. Breakfast, 297 calories for salmon and 210 calories for 3 eggs, 507 calories. That's made up of 0 grams and 2 grams of fat, of carbs, and then 22 grams of fat and 15 grams of fat, 26 grams of protein and 18. Like, everything is tracked. So like today, I can copy today to tomorrow and know that I'm going to hit all my macros. Now, some people who are very fitness orientated already do this, but are you doing this with your money? And most people are saying no. And for most people who are doing it on money, are you doing it with your health? And most people are saying no. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at this. In fact, I'm specifically very, very bad at this, which is why I got a nutrition coach to help me do this. And we're talking this morning, I'm like, can I have rice? Like, of course you can have rice. I can. Yeah, of course you can. Can I have it every day? Of course you can have it every day, as long as it hits your carbs for the day. And I'm on a daily total of carbs of 200 grams a day. What's that one? Oh, no, not 200 grams, 65 grams of carbs. Let me get this right. 200 grams of carbs, 65 grams of fat, and 160 grams of protein. And I can pretty much eat whatever I want. Keep the sugar as low as you can. I mean, I'm doing fine there. But this is what you should be doing. Whatever gets measured gets managed. I was thinking about that this morning. I'll say it again. Whatever gets measured gets managed. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. How many steps are you doing? I'm recording steps on my watch. How much income have you generated? As well as knowing what my expenditure is, on the same spreadsheet I've got here, where is it? Income. I've got various forms of income. And that income goes on this spreadsheet, and then I've got a profit and loss for the end of each month. So it's what? It's the 29th of July now, okay? But I can tell you what my profit and loss is already this month. Let's go to January. Now, I can tell you what my profit and loss in January 2022 is likely to be. Is it going to be that? Probably not. But have I got a cash flow forecast for the next 12 months? Of course I have. Why would I not do that? I can tell you in May how much money, how much profit we are expecting to hit. The reason why we can do that is if it's not enough, I would prefer to know now so I can make adjustments. And we got things in here like money that we're moving over to the ISA, money that we're moving over to property deposits, for example. That is in there. We've got ground rents. We actually save ground rents every single month so that when we pay them in January, we don't get hit with this massive thousands of pounds worth of bills for all the properties that have ground rents. We cover that every single month for each property that we own, and a piece of money gets allocated and goes into that specific bank account so that in January when we have to pay it, we've got the money there and it's set. We do the same for holidays. We just got back from Disneyland. In Paris, we actually drove. It's a long drive, by the way, so we did it over 3 days, was it? 4 hours a day, over 3 days. Stayed in Center Parcs, went to Disney, and then, you know, did the same back. 4-star hotels all the way. Well, on the way back, we did cheap ones on the way there. Won't do that again. But all paid for because it's allocated, because we decided 12 months ago that that's what we were going to do. That's how you should be running it. So when we talk about financial freedom, everyone's looking at how much money do I need? How many millions do I need in the bank? You don't need millions in the bank. You just need to know how much income you need. And you know that by working out how much money you're going to spend and how much money you want to spend. Like, have you got a fun account? How much is in your fun account? How much is in your gym account? You know, so CrossFit cost me €75. My nutrition coach is 150 euros. So 225 euros needs to be on this spreadsheet because that's my health budget. Why have you not got that? Have you got Netflix on there? Have you got Amazon? Have you got your gym? All that needs to be on there, and that will then dictate how much money you need to make. Now, there's two sides to making money. The first bit is making money and exchanging time for money and getting a job and going and working for money. The second type is a type that we've progressed on to in the last 10 years, which is our money comes from our assets generating cash flow. And all of our expenses comes from that money. All of it. The Disney holidays, the CrossFit workouts, the food budget, the petrol budget, the fun budget, it all goes out of that. So if I didn't want to work, I don't have to work ever again. Now, most people are not there, and that's perfectly fine as well, because it is a journey, not a destination. I mean, it's still a destination. You will get there eventually. But if you need £2,000 a month and you can generate £200 a month from something that just comes in every single month. I'll give you an example. We've got a property sourcing training course, which we did in February last year. And I look at how much money that's generated for us. That's generated a lot of money. It's not six figures, but it's not far off. I'm not going to say how much it is. It's done very well. I don't have to do anything for that. The money just comes in. I literally don't have to do anything for that. But let's just say it was £300 a month. So that £300 a month, it comes in. Instead of £2,000 a month, now you only need a job that earns £1,700 a month. And if you hate your job and you find a job you love and it doesn't pay as well, you can go do that. And that's what all this extra cash will make you allow you to do, is give you additional choices, so that when you decide what it is that you actually want to do, you can make a decision based on, well, I'm making this much money from here and this much money from here. I've got this training course. I've got these dividends. I've got this coming in. I've got that coming in. Multiple sources of income. That's what it should be about. So the one thing that really bothers me, and then we're going to finish up, is I see some people, and what they do is they make money. They make the £2,000 in property because they need £2,000, and they quit their job. And I'm like, well, what if a boiler goes? How much is a boiler? 1,500, £2,000. What if? I'll give you an example. We've just been hit with 4 bills for balconies because of Grenfell that need replacing. Okay, 3 of these properties were about 1,700 each. They all have wooden balconies and they all need replacing. Not a problem. 1,700 each, by the way. If you've not got 1,700 quid times 3, because 3 properties there, you're going to get screwed over. All in the same development, all at the same time. Property number 4 is based on square footage. One of the biggest apartments in the development has not got a wooden balcony. £1,800 I've had to fork out for a balcony that I don't have to replace. But because it's based on the service charge and how all that's done, calculated on square footage of the apartment, I still have to pay for it. Was it earlier this year or last year? I had to pay this money, 600 quid on a different property, 900 quid it was, for a balcony. I haven't even got, this apartment didn't even have a balcony. I had to pay for a balcony. Crazy, right? So if you earn £2,000 and your costs are £2,000 and you think, I'm just going to give up work and retire, you're going to be poor fairly soon, because something is going to come and hit you hard, like life. Nothing hits as hard as life. So your financial freedom figure, I would add an extra 50% onto that, whatever that happens to be. And I would also start allocating money over to one side, so you've got a slush fund for when shit hits the fan. Because trust me, in this life, it is going to hit the fan. I'm looking to hire a car in England when I fly back next week. And I spoke to them on the phone, Avis. I'm like, I haven't got anything with my name on it here in Spain. Oh, we don't need that. We just need your Spanish driving license. Okay, but can you send me an email so I've got confirmation from you that that's all you need? No, I can't do that. I said, well, I can't hire from you then. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to get to Avis, I'm going to pay for it, and then we're going to go, where's your ID? Where's your proof of address? And I don't have a proof of address here in Spain. And so, well, sorry, sir, you've paid that. This is how it works. If something can go wrong and something's going to screw you, it's going to screw you. So I actually went on to chat with Avis on the website, and then I've screenshot all of the comments that the guys made. No, it's fine, not a problem. Great. So that when I get there and we have to sue them because they have declined my car and I have to get a car from somewhere else that's more expensive, then, there's nothing much more expensive than bloody Avis anyway, is it? But, we know that if there's an opportunity for something to go wrong, it will go wrong. And you've got to back that up. And when we're talking financial financials. If you get yourself in difficulty financially, it is so hard getting out of that. So your financial freedom figure needs to be whatever it is you need to cover your costs, plus let's just stick an extra 50% on there, plus get your budget in place, plus look at alternate sources of income. Anyway, I hope that's useful for you. We'll catch up with you on the next one, whenever that happens to be. We are so inconsistent on these, it's untrue, but we're just grateful we got one in. Come and speak to me on Facebook. Love to hear from you. My name's Dan Latto, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.